Good day, everybody. It's Max, and welcome back to InfraSpace, the Cube. That's right. And in today's episode, it's pushing onwards. We're down to the last couple of rows, and, we're trying to squeeze every person in. So with that, let's get in there, and let's finish up that next row. And we're back again, you betcha. And today, what are we doing? I think the first thing I'm going to do today is ignore this. What? So I have been looking around the map, and well, okay, I'm telling you what my brain is thinking. Okay, so we know we have about 5 cubes worth. Those cubes, let's say they hold 2,500. Okay, so we know they hold about 26 and change. So I'll add another 500 on here at the end. So this would be 5,000. This would be another 5,000. So that's 10,000. This would be another 2,500. So that'd be 12,500 plus the other 500 from adding up the extra hundreds that we all get. So that's 13,000, right? So that should take us from 70 to 83,000. And maybe even a little more if I get squeaky. So I want even more, right? And I mean, we'll call this easy pickings, because basically I just got to hook up the factories, drop in the housing, and make magic happen, right? And it's going to fill that and make 13,000 people appear. The trick is that if we want even more, of course, I have been looking around the map at different things. Like, for example, let's go down here to 27. Okay, so 27 has some space beside it, right? So I did mention about how in the last episode we had these 2 houses. These are the only 2 houses that are not level 6 in the whole map, and it's because they're just outside of range of this park, right? So they can't upgrade anymore. But we have some space here. It's not really good for a mini cube. It's not obviously not going to fit a full cube. And I don't know about a half a cube, but I bet you I could make a cube plus, right? So we could take cube 27 and, because it kind of got a little ripped off with this with this chip out of the corner due to this cliff face. But we could probably squeeze, another, say maybe several hundred, if not 1,000 people in here alone. Right? And I've noticed there are several of these locations, like here, right? We could, take this dent out a little bit, take this dent out a little bit, maybe watch out for the copper in case I really needed it, but I haven't had, I'm not really hurting for resource at the moment. Look, see, there's some space in here. Could I get some housing in there? Can we get a little extra water? Can we, is this making enough food that we could probably do it? Sure, right? And same over here, right? We have some space. So, again, the big challenge here is VR. VR is my fallback, right? But there is all kinds of little space in here to squeeze in a little bit more. And now, true, the first cubes are pretty packed, pretty tight. But that's just the way the land kind of formed out, right? But, I mean, look at this over here. Look at this. I mean, this here could be a mini cube almost, if we squeezed it hard enough. I'm sure of it, right? And we could probably get some housing in here. I could back this food off a little bit, because the food isn't an AoE effect. I could back this food off a little bit, make a few slight adjustments, and then squeeze some housing in there. And this is going to be the harder stuff. So instead of doing another episode of an easy 13,000, right? Because yes, I can do that. I thought this episode should be all about squeezing the corners everywhere, right? And we'll see what we can get, And yes, I would be really pushing. Now, the one exception to this is probably 16, 17, 21, 22, and 23. I am pushing, they are already running 5 cubes with 4 robot factories and like 3.5 VR education. Like, I am pushing this row here to possibly its limit. But, I mean, we have like 3 rows down here that I could see what I can squeeze out of. And the fact that, we have, a few other areas that I could probably keep filling in stuff and see if I can't make something happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few crazy little neighborhoods. Now, I don't think I'll give them numbers. They'll either be parts of other cubes and see how that goes, or chances are that I might make a standalone cube somewhere, right? If it's hard to say, right? Like, as much as I would be very tempted, I could make a mini cube down here and call it Cube Zero, I guess. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start filling in some of the holes and squeeze out even more people, right? Before we just hand over 15,000. Yeah, we'll throw 13,000 or whatever in. Let's see about filling in some of this extra stuff. So let me get to work. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and I have made several new mini neighborhoods, if you want to put it that way. Of course, there's going to be Cube Zero here, which is basically an extension of Cube 1. We're going to hook a road on with Cube 1 here and let Cube 1 feed Cube 0. And I've expanded Cube 1's food capacity a little bit just to kind of make sure that's going to work out all right for us. Same here with Cube 5. I've extended Cube 5 a little bit. I took their food and swung it over to the bottom of the cube, which will probably make OCD people like totally freak out, considering all the other cubes have their food on the side. But in this case, it was the only way I could get like extra room, because again, with AOE buildings, you have to get the effect in, otherwise these buildings are not going to upgrade. So like, I couldn't just slap a stadium down here in the middle of the highway and make this work. So on this side, even Cube 22 is going to try and do a few more for me, or 21. Mini Cube 21, we are going to try and shove 7 more in the back. Probably going to pay for that, but we'll see how it goes. And then if we keep working our way down here, you'll notice here Cube 24 is got a little bit of an extension. I've given them a little extra food as well. We'll see how well they do with that. On the other side, Cube 27, 27 gets a bit of an extension. I tried to work an extension up in here, but again, by the time you put a stadium in and a park, it was like, okay, well, now you can put in 3 houses. Okay, well, yes, I get, and I may do that just to squeeze out what little population I want. But for now, this will be the extension of 27. And we do a little, and again, this literally proves my point. So here we are, we're putting in a stadium and a park to get maybe a 15 houses, because we may have to give a little extra O2 and stuff too, right? So yes, it's going to be one of them diminishing returns. That's what we'll use. We'll use the word diminishing returns. Now, I have to save this and then plop in the housing and get it started. Now, the reason is, of course, is that I could break a lot of stuff here, right? I mean, these are just add-ons. We are not putting in extra factories for them. We're not putting in extra anything for them. And so, look at this. Here's another fine example. A stadium and a park and a school, and I might get another 15 buildings in, maybe 16. We'll see how it goes. So we're gonna, but because we're not adding any new factories, and all these new buildings are gonna have to work on the factories they have. I could break the city, especially up here. I could break I could break this entire row, right? Because it is, I mean, this row is all connected, not in computer factories or anything, but at the same time, that's something I even have to watch for, right? Is this one factory here going to be a problem? I don't know, right? Now, yes, I could take this factory here, hook it on with this factory and this factory, and chances are, between the three of them, they will have enough supply to handle handle this extra piece, but that doesn't answer for the VR question, right? I mean, everything is a risk. Everything is risky here, people. So we're gonna plug this in. I'm gonna plug in a bunch of houses, and then I'm gonna bring it back to show you what happens. Okay, so it's a bunch of little O's all over the place. I thought I'd just bring it back for a quick second just to kind of hit the play button and watch the lag begin, because let me tell you something. It's a real thing. So you can see it's concentrating really hard. Okay. Oh, power's a problem. All right. Did not expect that. Sure. All right. As you can see by if you just look at the miners over here, I mean the miners alone are telling you just how bad the lag is, right? And the spaceship coming in is like, yeah, it's not good. Okay, well, let me hit the pause button so we can try to move around a little bit. I guess power is kind of a thing. That was, I mean, especially here in what will now be kind of Cube 0, I guess. Look at that. I guess we need a little bit of power in here. And even then, I'm not going to make it in there all the way. That's actually kind of interesting. So, can I put, like, power out here somewhere? Oh, I can definitely put power out here somewhere, because look at that. There just happens to be a power pole out here that just says, hey, you know what? We should do this. And I'd be like, yeah, sure, sounds good. Let's do this and this and that. And then, of course, we'll try and put one over here. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, we can just sneak it up to the rock for now, and then I can always focus on it later. Except where are you going to get that power, Max? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Because there's, like, no power around here, dudes. Like, okay, well, I guess you're going to drag it over from this power pole, are you? Well, yeah, because let me tell you something. It's a mess. Okay, well, do that and do that, I guess. All right, well, that will take care of the power problem there. Let's have a look at, let's move down here a little bit. Yeah, there, all right, so obviously, that's going to need extra sulfur and stuff. That's fine. What's your O2 problem, sir? I am pretty sure I gave you O2. Oh, no, I didn't. I totally forgot this neighborhood. Okay, we will fix you up shortly. My bad. That's on me. Okay, this neighborhood looks good, but did I forget the O2 in this neighborhood as well? I did. I did forget the water and O2 in that neighborhood as well. I was sure I went through and got all these. Like, did I not do that? Okay, because I was pretty sure I had this all done before starting the video, but obviously, nope. No, you didn't, Max. But okay, well, that's fine. We've got it started. We've got, what I've done is I've placed around 12 homes in each of the new locations, and I was sure I had all these done, but okay. We've got about 12 homes in each of the new locations, and of course, that's going to start our adventure into the 70s. So with that, I'll bring it back once I've actually given them oxygen, and the first round of upgrades and things have already done. Okay, I fixed all the broken stuff. So now I'm going to let it run ahead and actually fill in these extra neighborhoods that I've now attached to some of these cubes. And we're going to see what we end up with. So I'll bring you right back. Well, we've added another 6,000 to the total. You betcha. In fact, it's like, a few hundred short of 6,000, but we're at 75,978 so far. That's right. So far, I know. So let's go around and have a look at some of our new neighborhoods. So of course, Cube 24 has a little bit of an extension to it now. Yep. 21 got its extension in the back for 8-9 buildings. In fact, I even threw 3 more buildings on the side. So that's fine. And I'm keeping it like this because we had a little movement. Cube 27, one of the bigger extensions on here, basically made up for its corner missing plus some. And of course, is looking really good with all of its new buildings. And all these buildings are upgraded. They're all level 6 buildings. Yep, that's pretty crazy. Now, here, of course, we are at Cube 20, and it's we made up its little bit of a shortfall in the cliff face by getting some extra buildings in here in the corner. And I think that's about it for this side. Yep, that's for sure. Now, let's work our way across here. From 20. Of course, there's Cube 21, and it's a little extra in the back. Now, of course, down here, Cube 5, of course, it got its corner chopped off by this, but we've now extended that, and it even got a little extra more than the extras, and so that's worked out good. And then, of course, we have Cube 0. So I was going to make it as part of Cube 1, but I mean, literally, it's I think, bigger than Cube 21. So I thought, you know what? Cube 0 it is. Cube 0 is now the newest, one of the newest cubes, and basically it is, we'll call this the power cube, because I mean, literally, a large portion of this cube is running power plants. But it is connected. It is actually like Cube 1 point, it's like Cube 0.5 because it is using Cube 1's highway and resources to feed into this cube, and of course that's allowing it to exist, which is pretty crazy. It's all pretty crazy right now. So we have a lot of cubage. So really we have 28 cubes. And some of them cubes are more than just cubes. They're cube pluses, and it's actually pretty intense. It's pretty intense. But we're not done for this episode. No, we're gonna bring on 3 more cubes. That's right. We're gonna bring on the 3 main cubes here, and that will then leave just the little cubes next episode. So we're gonna try and bring on the 3 main cubes here. I'm going to we got VR education ready for them, so why not? We might as well bring them on, hook them in, and see how far we can go. So with that, I'm going to bring you back. Maybe we'll do a time lapse. I don't know. We'll see how much time I have tonight, because this happens over multiple days, right? Obviously, this didn't happen in like 2 hours in an afternoon, right? Like just putting in these extra neighborhoods takes 3 days. So it's all intense. It's all intense stuff. It's a wonder I get anything done. Anyway, we're gonna put these 3 cubes on, maybe a little extra. Hold on a sec. Okay, so I had to cut their interlude a little short, and that's because I, for the last several hours, have had to battle constantly cube collapse. Now, of course, we know that we know we've been pushing the game really hard. I mean, we have been pushing the game really hard. And when I brought these cubes online, of course, you would have just seen it's a very short time lapse, but the first 6th of the cube being put online. When I did the second 6th of the cube, I did the lower left, I think, on these cubes, and then I was going to do the lower right. There was enough traffic between the highways of trying to keep supplying the cubes on this row, the current load of the cubes on this road, and the new load, that it literally was clogging the highway too much, and it was just too much for these 2 rows. Now, I have the population numbers to take the hit. That was not the issue. The issue was, of course, is that, okay, can I battle through this? And I did, but it took a long, long time. In the end, what I ended up having to do was I ended up actually having to delete some of that first or that little segment. Not all of it, but basically take that out. Then go back and literally do this one row of housing at a time. So as you can imagine, there's what? 2, 3, 2, 5, 8, 2 is 10, 13, 15 rows. So that 15 times across these cubes. And even then, when I got close to the top for the last 5 rows, I actually did them by half row. So I would put in, so like in this row, I put in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buildings, or no, 8 buildings, and then I did the others on this side. And then I just would do half rows on the last 5 because we were pushing the traffic so hard all the time. Now it looks clean out here now, and it is when it's maintaining this kind of size. But when you drop down, take these cubes, even if you only did half rows. So that's 9 buildings across 4 cubes. That's 36 housing, right? I mean, that releases a lot of traffic all at once. And in turn, it can clog things very quickly. And of course, as you can see, there is traffic crisscrossing here all the time. I mean, we have a lot of crazy things going on. And so I spent hours. And you may notice there's actually a new highway here. It's a double robot highway, which comes down in here now. So you'll notice the robots coming in actually split themselves up way up here on the hill before they come in, and that was just one of many modifications I had to do. To get it to behave, to get the traffic through fast enough that it would stop crashing the city. So between cutting the rows back and only putting in approximately, well, we'll say 40 buildings across the 4 cubes, so like 10 in each cube at a time, and at the same time giving it more highway access, had to work on that a little bit. Finally got the cubes to where we are at 86,286, and I mean it's very impressive across 31 cubes. And I mean, we have them as cubes, but at the same time, some of these cubes are pretty big cubes now. Like cube 27, the end cubes especially, right? The end cubes, they tend to have a little more to them, right? Like cube 24 looks like it's some sort of claw or something. Now I do realize that 16, 17, and 21 are smaller cubes, but I think the other mega big cubes make up for the difference, and we probably have like 33 cubes worth here, right? At least worth. So what are we doing on the next episode? I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. It's I'm looking at the time, and it's very, very late, and but we're gonna probably do more cubes. So it turns out next episode we have these 3. I would call them half cubes, but they're slightly bigger than a half cube. But obviously, as I'm trying to yawn, we're gonna do these cubes, and I mean, next episode will probably be the last episode as we fill out the rest of the map. I mean, I'm literally out of map. The map is done. Now, what will the final total be? Don't know. I'm gonna keep pushing it as hard as I can, and that's what we'll do. But I'm exhausted. I'm babbling. I'm Max, and this, of course, has been InfraSpace Cube, and we're gonna on the next episode, which is most likely to be the final episode, we are going to see what the final population turns out to be. And, we're going to do a tour of the city, have a look at all the cubes, do all the things, and I am going to see you on the next one. Take care.